ABC Sport Digital Radio, your home of cricket.
G'day, my name's Paul Vaughton. I've been here at Manly for 9 years now, and we're hoping to win the premiership because I think we deserve to win it. We've been the best team all year. My basic role on the day will be, as lock forward, will be to plug the gaps and to take up the ball, plenty of times and do plenty of tackling. Just to basically do plenty. So we're hoping to win, and I think we will.
Hi, I'm Bob Fulton, and I've had it's my 5th year as Manly coach, and I'll be desperately hoping for a Manly win in the grand final today.
Bob Fulton rounding up the opinion for the Sea Eagles before they come out onto the ground this afternoon. And before they do, Bill McGowan.
Well, Manly and Canberra have met only twice this season, and Manly have won both games. In the first round, at a very wet and windy Seaford Oval, Manly 18 defeated Canberra 10. This was the day that Mal Meninga went to tackle Noel Cleal, hit the goalposts and broke his arm. It was a tight, close encounter. However, it was Mal Meninga's injury that captured all the headlines, and there's been headlines ever since, I think. The second round match at Brookvale was a sensational affair. Manly won 20 points to 18. Although Canberra's Dean Lance was sent off early in the match, the Raiders made a great game of it. But Manly won just.
Thanks very much, Bill. And last week, I think your computer told us that it was going to be East 15, Canberra 10. So what's it telling us this week?
We've got down 19 to 10 at the moment, Manly. But I've come on the train. I'm sort of gone to water.
Yes, you won't be able to get into Queanbeyan if you tip that Manly side to win and Canberra win this afternoon. Well, we'll go down to David in just a tick, but we've got so much happening on this ground, electrically speaking, that is, that we seem to have we've got a few curly ones around us at the moment, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But there's a little bit of a delay before the teams come out. The crowd are anxiously awaiting their arrival, and so are we up in this commentary position. And it is getting just a fraction cooler as we go past 3 o'clock. We're due to hear Advance Australia Fair from Julie Anthony in a moment or two from now. And just repeating that it was Penrith 11, Manly 0 in the reserve grade. And in under 23s, St George 32, Souths 14. Did you see St George win that game, Reg?
I did, Jim, yes. So they're a good side, top side. I like the way they run the ball. They eased off. They had the game pretty well wrapped up early in the second half. I thought they thoroughly deserved it, and they were favourites as far as I was concerned, and they're a good side. And of course, with the new coach next year, and I think there'll be a few of these young blokes going up a little bit further in the grades. They showed pretty good form, I thought.
Yes, they played extremely well in that game. From the moment Stuart Raper scored, really, they appeared to be on top. Their forwards were fantastic, and the Penrith commitment was equal to St George's in reserve grade, where for Graham Murray, who rather unfortunately, unluckily, perhaps justifiably has missed out at Penrith next year. He's gone off to Balmain. Good luck to them. Well, he took the team to a great victory, 11-0.
Yes, he did. It was a tremendous performance by the Penrith side. 9 of those players had played in the under-23 grand final, coached by Graham Murray the year before. They went down to a very experienced South Sydney side, but they made amends with an 11-0 victory against Manly Warringah today. A great effort by the side. They certainly weren't the better side in the first half. I thought Manly opened well. They had 3 chances to score, couldn't get over the line, so full marks to Penrith's covered offensive efforts. And then the Panthers came out and scored 2 tries in the second half, one in the first half to Rod McNeil, and one to Craig Izzard in the second half. And I thought Craig Izzard led his side well. Rod McNeil had a good game, and Brad Izzard also played very, very well.
We've had the lead up, we've had the build up, and we're warmed up, that's for sure. And it's an hour since we've seen any football on this ground. David Rowlands is down there just awaiting the arrival of the two teams, along with around 40,000 people here. Down to you, David.
Well, it's the calm before the storm, Jim. The atmosphere, you could break it with a pin. It's just absolutely electric. I did go round to the hill, even though you might not have known it due to some problems, but it was just absolutely chaotic. I reckon the crowd here is probably at least 60 to 70% to Canberra, if not more. It's going to be an electric game of football. and I've got a tip for you. I'm just awaiting the Manly side to run out, but there was a word from someone I know in the Manly camp earlier in the week that Mark Pocock would start the game in place of Noel Cleal. Now, it was only a suggestion. We'll wait and see, but you've heard it first here. If it happens, Pocock to start the game to do the defensive work, and Cleal to come on late in the first half or in the second half to run right. And I tell you what, there will be some gaps in both defences late in the game. It's extremely hot down here. Luckily, we have had a little breeze come through in the last half hour or so, but I reckon we'd still be up around the 30-degree mark. It was 31 degrees just under an hour ago, and that was at Observatory Hill. Well, it's like a sauna down here, so I reckon you could probably add another 5 or 6 degrees to that. But here they come. This is what it's all about. Rugby League's last ever game at the SCG, and won't it be a fitting one?
Thanks very much, David, who'll be keeping us up to date from the sideline throughout the match. Well, we'll just see who Bob Fulton does start in this Manly lineup this afternoon. I know that Mark Pocock was a little bit unhappy, as you'd expect, about missing out in a start in this match. He did play very well in the last game for Manly against Eastern Suburbs, and of course he's been replaced by Kevin Ward, who's been flown back from Castleford to play in this game, and Ward could be a key man for them along with Phil Daly. We will see. I tell you one thing, Kevin Ward won't be enjoying these conditions too much. This is a far cry from the conditions in the Challenge Cup final at Wembley.
He's going to feel it, Jim, that's for sure. There's no problems, but a bit different from the old dart. Very, very hot conditions. All players, as I said, are going to feel it as the Manly team prepare to come out and, well, as I said, forward battles, but I reckon a key man in that Manly operation is going to be Cliffy Lyons, the 5'8". They're saying, right, Mal Meninga, Jackson, Belcher out wide, they're going to be the dangers for Canberra. But I reckon Cliffy Lyons moving up, getting outside of O'Sullivan, chopping off that ball, that's going to be the key factor. And Des Hasler, Canberra have shown toward the edge of the rucks where there's been a few gaps. They won't want to have any gaps out there today because Hasler has got the experience and the speed off the mark to get through them.
Well, Crusher Cleal's just come onto the ground with the Manly side, so it certainly looks as though he will be starting off with them along with Kevin Ward in the pack. So the Manly side, no last-minute surprises from Bob Fulton at this stage, at any rate. But you recall last time we saw Manly on this ground, they ran into each other twice. O'Connor was concussed and Vorton came up with a nasty scrape over his right eye. So let's see how well Manly start this game. One thing is for certain, Canberra, who've had a tremendous run on this ground over the last month, they've really buried any bogey that there may have been about their inability to perform here. They have started, as George Pickens told his players when Canberra played South, at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And here comes Gary Belcher onto the ground with this Canberra side behind him, each of them being individually introduced to the crowd here. And that was an interesting comment about the crowd being predominantly Canberra supporters. There are a lot of them away to our right below the Brawongle stand, and out on the hill you can see a lot of those green machine flags being flung out below the scoreboard as the Canberra players come out onto this sun-drenched, sweltering SCG. So the Canberra players out there. Mark Levy likes Canberra. Reg is going for Manly. I think Bill feels a feeling for Manly. And I must admit, on paper, Manly looked the team to beat. So on that score, with Jerry Collins also pretty keen about the chances of the Canberra side, we're probably giving Canberra a very, very good chance by favouring Manly overall in our tipping this afternoon. So the teams are out there, so is Mick Stone, and we're going to hear Advanced Australia Fair, sung by Julie Anthony in just a moment. Manly will be defending the Paddington end of the SCG. That's the Bradman stand in, for those of you who aren't all that familiar with the geography, and Canberra down at this electronic scoreboard end. So let's pick up Advance Australia Fair. And a great response to Julie Anthony singing Advance Australia Fair. And now the teams are ready to do battle in this 1987 grand final. Canberra to kick off, Manly to receive in the first half. Mick Stone whistles. Time on here in this first half. Away they go down towards the corner. Shearer's going to pick up the ball. He's got the first touch of the match, and he's picked up by the Canberra defence. Sam Bacco coming in over the top with Coyne underneath. They swing it out to Cleal, and Cleal is quickly picked up by Canberra. This is going to be the test for Canberra. Will their defence hold up Manly as Daly tries to take it up for the Sea Eagles? Just outside the quarter, Cochrane swings it back. Shearer's going to kick. A right footer over halfway in the middle. Belcher is back there. He'll get to the ball first on the quarter. He's trying to step. O'Connor goes up and makes a good tackle. 35 out from the Raiders line. Michael O'Connor up very fast on Gary Belcher. It's gone to Peter Jackson. They throw the ball across to Kinner. Kinner going around him and straightening, and he's picked up and pushed back hard by the Manly defence. Cleal went in strongly with Cochrane. Now they're looking for a runner, but don't worry as Gibbs comes in and gives a friendly bump to Brent Todd because the Sea Eagles are offside. Mick Stone has sprung them well inside the 5, anxious to get up and smother Canberra, and the Raiders will take a deep breath and kick for touch.
The kick and chase game is going to be very important. I thought Dale Shearer did a very fine job there of putting the ball away from his opposite number, Gary Belcher. Belcher was forced to take it. The chasers were up there, and Michael O'Connor came up with a very good tackle. Unfortunately, Manly Warringah in expecting to get stuck into the Canberra side were up too quick, and the penalty ensued.
Todd and then Bacco have taken it ahead. Bacco's playing it. It's gone to Henjack. He sends it to O'Sullivan. Short ball to Gilbert. He almost cut through, but he was stopped by Lyons. 35 out. Here go the Raiders on the blind side. Meninga, his first go of the day. He tries to crunch his way ahead, and the crowd roar in behind Big Mal. It's fired away towards Coyne. 2 tries in the last game here, and he's put down by the defence 20 metres out. Kevin Ward was in there. They're coming up to the last tackle. The kick from Jackson's a little grubber. It comes off Vorton's boot. It's loose on the ground. They dive for it. Count starts again. The Raiders have got it back. Fallen on by Henjack. Now they swing it away. And it's Todd who's pulled down about 8 metres out from the line. They swing it again. Bacco has a crack at the defence. He's 2 metres short of the posts. Great opportunity for the Raiders here. Steve Walters, he doesn't get the ball. It's a penalty, in fact, against Bacco. Not playing the ball properly. What a time to do that.
And just as well too, Jim, because Canberra were on a roll. And I'm amazed there with that kick through that Vorton didn't fall on the ball. He seemed to hesitate.
No doubt about it. He just shoveled the ball back through his legs. He didn't put it on the ground. And a real relieving penalty for the Sea Eagles.
Very good play by the Canberra Raiders. A little kick there. They dived on the ball. Their enthusiasm's there. Manly have to tackle.
Now it's taken up by Ward after the tap. They're still inside their quarter, Manly, so some good hits here from Canberra. Could jolt it loose as it goes to Daly, and Daly's smothered in defence by Todd going in with Bacco. Right on the Manly quarter. We've gone a couple of minutes. Cleal has a go, one off. He tries to step, but he's put down there by Steve Walters along with Brent Todd. They play it again. Cochrane. Shearer's going to kick this time. Back over the halfway mark. Straight to Gary Belcher. Down his throat. He swallowed it. He sweeps back towards the halfway mark with a step, and in they come to put him down. Good defence by Cochrane with Lyons following, and a penalty goes to the Raiders. Holding the man down. You've got to allow him to play it. Once I've called held, says Mick Stone, and the Raiders will come up and pump the ball into touch. So they've made a pretty impressive start here, the Canberra Raiders, in their first grand final. The kick off the side of the boot from Peter Jackson, but it finds touch. That's the most important thing. Now they've got the tap, and Todd takes it up off Walters, and he's inside the Manly half. He's going to play it back here for Walters again. Missing Lance. It goes to Bacco. He charges ahead. In there is Daly doing the tight stuff. Bacco grapples with them, plays it back. It goes to Henjack. He sends it to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan has a look and tries to straighten and go through, but Vorton's got him on the ground. Just in Manly's half. It's flung back there to Jackson. Jackson steps on the gas. He's lost the ball. It's gone loose. Canberra going after it to try and save it, but it's fallen on by Vorton for Manly. They're going to bring it back. Ward puts his head down and has a go. And he's 10 short of the halfway mark, stopped by Gilbert and Coyne. In the middle of the paddock, it's Cochrane to Hasler. He gives it to Lyons. Lyons setting it up wide. It's gone to O'Connor. He steps, gives it to Davis, and the bug is off. Over halfway, he's down towards the quarter. Here comes Belcher. He steps back infield, and Belcher makes the tackle. Davis couldn't link it up. 30 metres out.
Manly boiling here. They give it out to Cleal, now to Hasler. He looks and he finds a runner. It's Ward. Ward steps back inside. Can't unload. Right on the Canberra quarter. Manly looking hot with the ball. It goes to Vaughton. He looks on the inside. He steps. He gets past one, but he's put down by Steve Walters. Last tackle coming up for Manly Warringah. Cochrane's a dummy half. He puts up the bomb. It's a speculator across the paddock. In goes Lyons. He misses the ball. It's gone loose. Lance has got it. It's popped sideways and is picked up over there for the Raiders by Jackson. I think it was Walters that came up with the ball. Steve Walters. And away go the Raiders, clearing it from this awkward position through Bacco. And he's stopped near the quarter line. Manly going in and trying to stop them quickly as Kinner or Corkery has a go from dummy half. He's gone up about 10 outside the quarter. The Raiders playing it away towards Henjack. He slips it from O'Sullivan out to Meninga. Quick ball, gone to Jackson. Back inside. It was touched by a Canberra player, but he was held off the ball by Ron Gibbs. Ron Gibbs went in earlier on a Raiders player, and Mick Stone has given the Raiders a penalty for that early tackle. And they'll kick for touch about 35 from their line after some exciting counter-attack by Manly after a good burst to start the game from the Raiders.
Well, it's been a very bright opening. Canberra attacked relentlessly in the first few minutes, and then we saw that beautiful break by Stuart Davis down the left-hand flank, and a good cover defence by Canberra. They got the ball back and then once again tried to attack out wide.
Mal Meninga kicks it into touch off the side of his boot. Steve Walters gives it to Todd. Todd goes bumping ahead and he's pushed back by the Manly defence. They came in a threesome that time to put him on the ground. Open side ball. It's Bacco taking it up strongly again. And Bacco stopped on the halfway mark. He'll play it from Walters. It goes to Henjack again. O'Sullivan's there. He sets it up for Gilbert's half through. And he almost got the pass back, but he couldn't quite slip it to O'Sullivan, who was into space had he got the ball. On halfway, it's Coyne. He sends it deep. It goes to Meninga for a kick ahead. It's down towards Shearer. He finds Shearer on the fly. Shearer, with a step, tries to get around the defence, but on with one leg, Henjack's got him on the ground. Now Ronson's pass goes to O'Connor. O'Connor goes nowhere. That's good defence. Gary Coyne crashed in with Lance to stop O'Connor before he could get up any pace. Ronson again tries to go from dummy half, and Canberra aren't missing with the tackles here. It's good stuff as Hasler sends it to Ron Gibbs. Ron Gibbs trying to part it a course ahead, but the Raiders have got him on the ground.
Now's the time that Noel Cleal should come into the play. The Raiders are handling the Manly attack. Cleal is the man that should get himself involved.
The pass goes from Shearer to Vaughton, who kicks back towards Belcher down near the quarter. It's bouncing once into his hands. Belcher takes it. They're all around him offside. Lyons must be within the 5. He decides to run, Gary Belcher, and of course they just move in and put him on the ground. He had a look and then went for them. Now from dummy half, Corkery trying to push his way ahead, but he's on the ground, stopped by Hasler and Lyons. In the Raiders half, Steve Walters, he gives it to Brent Todd. He hits it up for the Raiders, and he's swallowed up by the defence, and he's lost the ball in the tackle. It'll be a scrum. Brent Todd lost it in the tackle. Now the touch judge has come on to report something. He's flashed onto the ground. What's all this about?
Well, referee Mick Stone threw something at him. Must have been an implement on the field, which he wants to get off.
A leftover from the big pageant. A remnant of one of those firecrackers, probably. A few firecrackers have gone off in the forwards. The scrum's trying to pack in straight, but they're having trouble out there. Now Hasler puts it in. It's a Manly ball. Lyons goes to the blind. Sets it up for Shearer, who short kicks ahead. Here's a chase in goal. Shearer's got speed. He might get there first. It's eluded them all and gone dead. I think Gary Coyne knocked it dead. Gary Coyne got his hand to the ball. But how many times this year have we seen Dale Shearer at the scrum do exactly that? And he had the pace to get past Coyne, but the bounce eluded him.
The bounce eluded him. It favoured Gary Coyne, and he belted it dead, but good play by Coyne in being able to get back there from the scrum situation.
The kick goes back to Vaughton. Vaughton trying to go through the defence, and he's stopped quickly by his opposite, Dean Lance. A good, solid tackle, and in came Brent Todd to finish it. It swung out to Kevin Ward. He has a crack at the defence, one off. Takes it up another 5 or 10. 20 metres out, it's Cochrane. He sends it to Hasler. Gives it out to Lyons. Lyons looks wide. And out there it's Shearer. He dropped it away to Davis. And they did well to keep possession that time. It flicked from Shearer to Davis. And we're only 15 metres out from the Raiders line. Over near touch. Lyons gives it to Hasler. Hasler trying to step. He slips. He's lost the ball. He's fallen on it. And it's been knocked back. Wasn't touched by Canberra, so the count doesn't restart as Hasler plays it Cochrane gives it to Cleal on the blind. He throws the dummy and tries to step through them. Big Mal's there, and he's got him on the deck. Last tackle coming up 8 metres out. It's gone to Cochrane again. He puts in a grubber, but it's too deep and it goes dead in goal. That takes the heat off the Canberra Raiders, and they'll bring it back to the quarter for a tap. And so we've gone 10 minutes, folks. No score in the grand final.
Well, the idea was good, sound, but not well executed. It was a grubber. It was on. He could have put the bomb up. I believe that he changed his mind halfway through, put the grubber in. It was far too strong and went dead in goal.
Sam Bacco is being used a lot as he is now from the tap. It could be a 50-minute game for him today. Let's see if he can crack them at some stages. Todd, too, has a go at the Manly line, and he drags it up a few more metres. It is stinkingly hot out on this ground at the moment. Walters swings it from Henjak, and it goes out there towards Coyne. He's put on the ground by the Manly defence. Ward coming in to finish off Lyons' tackle. They're gradually getting towards the halfway mark. They're going to kick through Meninga now. He pumps it ahead. He's looking for touch. Wide of Shearer. It's bouncing close to it. It's a good kick from Big Mal. It's close to touch, but it comes back infield. Shearer down near his line. He's picked the ball up, and the defence is there. So it's a good gain for the Raiders. Big kick by Meninga. And O'Sullivan was up there to make the tackle. Now it's Davis, a dummy half. He goes nowhere. He's quickly deposited by this defence. Put on the ground by O'Sullivan. They swing it to Hasler. Hasler trying to step. And if it's one thing Manly don't like is that a very effective tackling close to the ruck. Lyons now gets it a bit wider. He finds Vorton on the inside. Vorton's stepping well, but Vorton makes only about 6 or 7 metres after crabbing his way ahead. Now Lyons is thinking of a kick, throws the dummy. He's halfway through, but he's picked up by the defence now. He was gathered in by Gary Coyne, getting through a lot of tackles. O'Connor to Hasler. Fires it wide. Cochrane's out there, roving. It goes to Gibbs on the inside. Gibbs has lost the ball. Chance for the Raiders now as Gilbert picks it up. So Canberra's defence has been pretty solid. It's worried Manly. 35 out the Raiders. They go the blind. There's Henjak. Henjak trying to slice his way through. And he's grabbed over the top by Phil Daly. Still 35 out and no score. It's Brent Todd one off. He hits it up for the Raiders and he's put on the ground by Kevin Ward. He'll play it back to Steve Walters. It's gone to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan trying to dance about, and he's on the ground right on the Sea Eagles quarter line in the middle of the field. He's going to play it back to Steve Walters. He sends the pass to Henjak. He looks for Jackson. Jackson stepping, finding Meninga. It's popped up to Belcher. Belcher couldn't get up any speed, and he was picked off by the defence just outside the quarter with Phil Daly doing the job. Last tackle coming up for the Raiders. Henjak fires it back. Jackson's there for the bomb. It's gone a little off the side of his boot, straight up in the air. Up they go, and it's plucked out of the air by Mal Cochrane. A good take by the Manly hooker. And now the bug, Stuart Davis, tries to run it out, but he's quickly picked up by the defence. Davis plays it back. Cochrane swings it away to Cleal. Cleal is gathered by the defence, but he wrestles with them and makes a couple of metres. He didn't have any momentum up when he came onto that ball. It was a short pass, and the same one goes out to Hasler trying to step, as he's so dangerous close to the ruck, but he couldn't get past Coyne, who's doing a good blocking job. Now Shearer, he elects to kick downfield as Daly gets attention behind the play, and this is a big kick. It's gone into touch. Shearer finds touch 5 metres from the Raiders' corner post in front of the hill, and after 14 minutes, no score.
Well, it's tit for tat, and it's one end of the field to the other. We just saw, of course, Mal Meninga put a long kick up the other end of the field, and then Manly just through short in-and-aways and good crisscrossing of players. They've found their way up. A great kick by Shearer, and they're only 15 metres out.
It was a good kick, and because the hardest thing is now that Canberra have got to fight their way back from their quarter line, and they've been doing some pretty heavy work. There's been very few stoppages in the game, and it must be sapping the energy out of these fellows.
Kinner now from dummy half. He goes across field, just settling it down, and he's rolled over in the tackle by Vorton. He gets another little push as he tried to come up, and now Brent Todd takes it up for the Raiders. They're still inside their quarter after winning that scrum. They'll be looking for a clearance in a moment as Steve Walters gives it to Bacco. Up goes Bacco, but he's picked off by the defence. Vorton again doing the good work in there. Now Meninga's going to kick. He rifles it away with his right boot over the halfway mark. It's bouncing towards Ronson's flank. He's got the ball now. He's trying to step. Williams is with him, but he's stopped by Corkery and Jackson. 10 metres inside Manly's half. Williams gives it to Shearer. Shearer trying to step, and then he's stopped very quickly by Coyne and Steve Walters. He realised he couldn't go anywhere. Cochrane gives it to Hasler. He fires it wide to Cliff Lyons. Lyons looks. There's the bug out wide. Stuart Davis. He's up to the halfway mark. He's around Kinner. He's got pace. He gets past Kinner but goes into touch. But he stood up Kinner that time.
maybe Kinner was using the touchline a little bit, but it looked to me as though he had speed to burn on Chris Kinner. And then the touchline and Kinner converged, and over the line he went.
Well, in the end, it was definitely Kinner who came up with the goods. He gave Davis the opportunity to say, OK, if you want to run around me, go. And I thought he was gone, but Kinner did it well, knocked him into touch.
The Raiders win the scrum, and it's Henjack on the open side, who's scrambled to the ground by Vaughton. They play it back. There's Belcher. It goes away to O'Sullivan. He sends it to Meninga. Meninga trying to cut through, but Lyons is onto him after he takes a step. Near halfway, it's Gilbert to Coyne. Gary Coyne looks, sends it away to Lance, and they're backing up pretty well here, the Raiders. Good support from Walters. It's gone out to O'Sullivan. Took a low pass. Now he's running freely. Down towards the quarter he came. And Manly just waiting for the Raiders at the moment. They're a little bit on the back pedal in defence, Manly here. The Raiders with a chance on the blind. It's Jackson with the ball. He tries to slice through.
Michael O'Connor was a mile offside there, just waiting for Jackson on the blind side.
Last tackle. O'Sullivan puts it up high. Shearer is waiting for it down near the corner. So is Ronson. He takes it on the full, close to touch. And Corkery comes flying through to make the tackle. It's Shearer at dummy half, trying to swing around in the tackle, and he's on the ground. So no score so far in the grand final as David Ronson goes to the open side. And the Manly players grouping behind him down near the quarter. Cochrane sends it out there towards Kevin Ward, and Kevin Ward's put on the ground by Gary Coyne. Coyne in there that time with Walters. It's Hasler from dummy half. Now Hasler trying to excite a bit of attack. Fires a loopy pass out to Lyons. There's a bit of pace on here. Lyons up towards the halfway mark. He's got Davis with him. He looks on the inside. He gets away from Henjack. He misses O'Connor. He sets the pass up for Cleal. And Cleal races down towards the quarter. Throws a forward pass to Hasler, who goes over under the post, but they'll bring it back for a scrum. Manly, broken play. They allowed Cliff Lyons to run and run and run. He got it to Cleal, but Cleal's pass was forward.
Yes, a magic break by Cliff Lyons, and it was set up in the first place by Des Hasler. Lyons just threw dummies. He stopped, he stepped, he straightened up, and then in the end he gave the ball to Noel Cleal, who threw a definite forward pass to Des Hasler.
Henjack feeds the scrum. It's a penalty to the Raiders, and it's against Cochrane. Feet up. Vaughton comes up to see what it's about. The Raiders will kick for touch. Helter-skelter start. In sweltering conditions here, we've gone 18 minutes, no score in the grand final. Penrith won the reserves 11-0, and St George, the under-23s, 32-14. Now it's Todd taking it up from the tap. He's just in the Manly half after being held down there by Cochrane. It's gone to Bacco. Bacco turns and tries to deliver. Whoops, over the top goes Daly. He bounced right over the top of Bacco. Bacco's playing it back. Steve Walters gives it to Henjack. He fires it out to O'Sullivan. Now it goes to Gilbert. And Gilbert's held by that Sea Eagles defence. 2 metres in Manly's half. It's gone out to Jackson. Jackson racing ahead. Almost getting through, but well stopped by Vaughton. He's getting through a few tackles. Corkery is hassled over there by Gibbs, who rides him into the ground. Last tackle coming up for the Raiders. They send it on the blind. It goes to Meninga. He looks for touch and finds it. Now Meninga finding touch. It's pretty warm down there on the ground. What's it like, David Rowlands? David's down there somewhere on the sideline. We'll get to him when we can. 20 metres out from the Manly line. The scrum is packing down.
The Manly defence on the fringe of the rucks, where Canberra are trying to aim their attackers very, very good. They've got Cliff Lyons out there, Des Hasler and Paul Vaughton. All are very strong defensive players, and they're thwarting the Canberra attack.
Now after the scrum, Sea Eagles with the ball. It's gone to Vaughton. Vaughton takes it ahead, and he's just outside the quarter. He's going to play the ball back to Mal Cochrane. He fires it to Hasler. Now it goes to Lyons. Lyons cutting through again, sends it inside to Shearer. Good work to Cleal. Cleal backing up on the inside, has made a good bust over the halfway mark. And he's gathered in cover by Dean Lance. That's where Manly are dangerous. You can't give them any room, and that's a terrible pass from Lyons to Hasler, who's knocked on. And there'll be a scrum. Okay, let's try David on the sideline. Hello, David.
Even the way it works is...
My goodness. We've got someone else on the line this afternoon. Good afternoon, whoever you are. We're into our talkback every day. So the Raiders win the scrum, and it's gone out to Corkery off Henjack. He's pushed backwards, and he's pulled him up for a forward pass from Corkery to Henjack. as that strong driving tackle came in from Shearer. So another scrum. This time Manly will feed it.
And Canberra can ill afford to make those mistakes because Manly have been making the breaks, particularly wide and also down the blind side where Cliff Lyons is reading the play very, very well.
Well, the Manly side, they've had a couple of opportunities now to score tries. Canberra have not looked dangerous, but Manly have on a couple of occasions, particularly from broken play. But I've just seen, I think, a couple of messages might have gone out to the players. Number one to Michael O'Connor, get yourself involved, and there he goes.
He shot kicks ahead. It's going in goal, but it's going to be too deep, and it goes dead. Just dead. Well judged by Gary Belcher. He judged the bounce perfectly as O'Connor came rifling into the play, kicked ahead. Belcher was back there and he watched the ball a little bit tantalisingly at the end just go dead in goal before he and O'Connor arrived.
Well, of course, we saw him last week let that ball bounce. Fortunately, it was over the dead ball line and then it came back to the eastern suburb side. This time he always had a look at Michael O'Connor, saw where he was and ensured that he got his body between Michael O'Connor and the ball.
So the Raiders bringing it up from the tap. They're just outside the quarter. It's gone from Henjack. He gives it to Coyne, and Coyne is 35 metres away from the Raiders line.
They're not putting him on the deck. They must put the Canberra man on the ground. They're allowing them to stand in their tackles and play the ball. And that's exactly what they have to do in possession. Of course, the kick and chase game on both sides has been pretty good.
And it was Belcher's kick that went down to Ronson, and Ronson took it on the full. And now he's back near halfway. It's Hasler going up on the blind, but it's a penalty against that marker there, I think offside. And Manly will get the penalty. They'll kick for touch. We'll try David Rowlands again, but I think he's tied up with all those television cameras down there, so it might be better if he moved about 10 or 15 metres away from the electronic action. Can you hear us, David? No, he can't get on at the moment. So it's Shearer who kicks for touch and finds it, and it came off Jackson. Jackson got a finger to it, so it'll be a scrum. A leaping, acrobatic finger to the ball.
The line kicking hasn't been good, though. We've seen a number of balls screw off the side of the Canberra players' boots, in particular Jackson and Meninga, and now this one where we've failed to find touch on the first occasion.
Scrum goes down. Hasler is going to feed it. It's a Manly ball. It goes back to Shearer standing at 5'8", and Shearer is quickly stopped over there by Gary Belcher up in the line. We're right on the quarter here. Manly attack it. No score in the game as Vorton has a look and then straightens, and he's pulled down 20 metres from the posts. He's going to play the ball to Mal Cochrane. Hasler fires it out to Lyons. Lyons has a look. There's Cleal in the line. A little flick goes to Shearer. Shearer steps around Todd. He sets it up to O'Connor, and O'Connor's pulled down about 10 metres out from the corner. Manly full of attack. Hasler gives it to Daly. Daly heads hard at the line. He's only a couple of metres short. He was gathered in by the defence. Big tackles in there. Jackson went in with Backo. Manly testing them. Hasler sends it deep to Lyons. Lyons is going slowly. Then he puts in a kick for the corner. Out there is Kinner. Kinner drops it. It's loose. Someone pick it up. And it's Meninga who comes in and saves the bacon. He dived on the ball and went into touch. But that kick went up in the air and had Kinner going in a half circle to try and find it. Then he dropped it.
That was good football by Lyons then, because he could see that the Canberra defence was moving up out wide. It was either the grubber, the little chip over. He decided on the one in the air. Kinner was in all sorts of trouble. Good football, good thinking from Cliffy Lyons.
I must agree, he had a few options though. I thought, Reg, that there were 3 men on 2, and if he'd moved the ball a little bit quicker, maybe the opportunity came. But by the same token, he still put pressure on the Canberra defence, which is what his aim was.
Well, he had to watch it there, Mark, because if he'd have thrown it wide, he could have left himself open for an intercept. That's why he chose the kick.
5 metres out after the scrum win. It's Gibbs who's going to play it back. Cochrane's in there. He gives it to Hasler. He sends the pass out to Ward. Ward sends it back to Hasler. They've got it alive, but he's dropped it. Lyons back to Cleal. And Manly hanging on, but Dunny just. They lost ground that time. They're all over the place, but you never know. It'll go inside from Vorton to Lyons. He fires it. Oh, someone pick it up. Gibbs was out in bars somewhere. Davis came from the wing to clean up. Keep making the tackles, Canberra. At the moment, Manly are all over the place. They're looking a bit short of a gallop in the heat.
They are, aren't they?
15 metres out. Cochrane kicks ahead. It's bounced awkwardly, and Meninga's come up with it, and he's pushed in goal. It'll be a drop under the posts.
Kevin Ward is having a very, very solid game up front. We thought that he might be short of a gallop, and the heat would certainly affect him. But Daly and Ward are having very good games up front for the Manly side.
It'll be a drop from under the posts. We've gone 25 minutes in this heat without a score on the board. But there are some weary boys out there, and in the last minute or two, Manly really been all over the place. But you never underestimate them. You never know what will spark a brilliant attack. Now it's Gibbs, who comes back towards the quarter, and he's really going hard. Out of 1-2, and he came in for a third tackle that time as he crashed headfirst into the defence. It gone to Vorton inside the quarter. He's trying to step through, and he's put down by Backo and Henjack. 15 metres away. Cochran to Hasler. Fires it out to Lyons. Lyons has a look. There's Shearer. He's stepping beautifully. Shearer heads for the line, and he's just picked up by Belcher. Great last-ditch tackle. Cleels has a charge. He's a metre short. Just stopped in there by Steve Walters. Shearer again. He fires it wide. Lyons picks it up well. There's still a chance here. It's gone loose back to Hasler. Hasler trying to step. He fires it away to Daly. Daly goes straight at the line. Now fires the pass. It's gone loose, and this time the Raiders have got it, but a knock on. He says the Raiders knocked it on, and I think he's probably right too, Mick Stone. There was a little fumble forward as the ball went loose.
Give Gary Belcher a big pat on the back there. He saved a certain 4 points, possibly 6.
Well, it was 6 points because Shearer was in under the post. That was a magnificent tackle by Belcher. It was in and away by Shearer. Belcher read it and tackled him magnificently.
I thought he would have stood him up, Mark, but Belcher read it, as you said, and went straight into him and nailed him.
Now it's Lyons. Lyons has made a half break. He heads for the line. He's over. Lyons has scored from the scrum. Cliff Lyons off Hasler, and it's always a threat with the Manly side when those two get involved. And Lyons searched his way through the defence and clawed over the line for the first points of the grand final. It's taken Manly 27 minutes to get on the board, and Cliff Lyons, one of their stars this year, scored the try.
Yes, it was a simple case of Shearer becoming involved in the movement. It went on to Cliff Lyons. He beat Chris O'Sullivan pointlessly with a good palm, then came inside Belcher. Gary Coyne was over there in cover defence but wasn't able to stop the try.
Straightforward stuff, Reg.
Yes, certainly, but O'Sullivan was the man that should have nailed his opposite. And I said before that Lyons was going to be the man. He made sure of that, went round O'Sullivan and made sure of the try. First points on the board, always important in grand final football in any game, but particularly grand finals. That's really going to help Manly's confidence.
O'Connor, 10 metres to the right of the posts, about 15 out. This is a throw-over shot. He doesn't believe in a lot of practice, this man, and he's got it. Manly 6, the Raiders 0. Let's try the sideline. David Rowlands. No. We're not getting much joy down there this afternoon. It was all right a while ago, but it just seems to be breaking up at the moment. So we'll go back to the halfway mark. A restart of play for the Raiders. They have to settle themselves down. 12 minutes left in this first half as they launch themselves again through Belcher's kickoff. It's gone down towards Shearer. Shearer picks it up. He's stepping his way up to the quarter. He's on the ground. Gilbert made the tackle. Ronson a dummy half. Ronson across and straightening. He's down, tackled by Steve Walters. Now it's Cochran again. They're looking for someone. It's Cleal. They came up in a group and Cleal took the pass ahead. He was stopped by Todd. They fire it back to Shearer. Shearer boots it downfield. Wide of Belcher. Out towards Kinner's wing. But Belcher eventually is going to get to the ball. He picks up 10 out from his line. There's a lot of Sea Eagles there, and it's Hasler who makes the tackle. They all came rushing up on Gary Belcher.
Well, it's a very good chasing game, and it's going to take 3 rucks before the Canberra forwards are in position. Dean Lance, the captain, will be the last one back.
20 metres out from the line. There goes Corkery. Corkery trying to step, and he's pulled down over there by Lyons. Outside the quarter. It's Walters giving the pass to Corkery. Corkery steps and straightens towards the halfway mark where he's put down by Williams. Dummy half. It's O'Sullivan. The pass goes to Todd. Todd up towards halfway. Got it to Jackson. Jackson hits the gas. He's down to the quarter. Send it to Meninga. Meninga comes at Shearer and he's stopped by Shearer. He needed a bit more support. Last tackle coming up for the Raiders. That was good play there. They go the blind. Henjack's there. He puts in a grubber. It's gone in goal and it's gone dead. Just beyond O'Connor.
Possibly not the right option there. I think the pressure was on Manly Warringah. The forwards were getting back after that Jackson break onto Meninga. Perhaps the ball thrown wide on the open side to stretch the forwards once more was the better option.
So we're on the quarter. The tap for Manly And the Raiders are counter-attacking well there with Jackson and Meninga involved. One more pass and they could have been in, but they didn't have the extra man in support as Ward from the tap moves it back upfield. He's going to play it to Cochrane. He dummies, then sends it out to Cleal, and in they go on Cleal. Lance and Coyne put him on the ground. Playing it back to Cochrane. Cochrane has a look. He's in the middle and he's put down by Lance. 35 out from the Sea Eagles line. It's Hasler. Hasler from the base of the ruck. He's trying to put on a spurt, but he's put down over there by Sam Backo. Cochrane again. It's gone to Shearer. Shearer drives the ball down inside the quarter, out towards Kinner's wing. Kinner watches carefully. He wants to make sure of this bounce. He's got the ball now. There's O'Connor watching him too. And with Davis, they've got Kinner and they're putting him on the ground. Kinner plays the ball. It's gone to Gary Belcher. And Gibbs came flying in after Lyons had made the first attempt to stop Gary Belcher. They swing it away. Henjack's got the pass out to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan trying to hit the gas and get past Vorton, who put him down with Williams. He plays the ball ahead. O'Sullivan makes a bit of ground. Couldn't slip that pass away to Corkery, who was in support.
Would have been dangerous had he done so, because Corkery was in the clear.
It's gone out to Meninga. Meninga ran out of space. There was a lot of defence there. So on the inside, it's gone to Backo. Backo bumps out of one tackle. He's gone up towards the halfway mark. Big run by Backo. Backo goes bumping at Hasler. And Hasler's put him on the ground. He had to jump on him to stop him along with Daly. It's the last tackle. Henjack's got it. He swings it out to Coyne. He looks towards Kinner's wing. Kinner puts in a kick back infield. Underneath it is Shearer. He takes it just in the field of play. He's got away from one. This could open up for Manly here. Here comes Shearer out of one tackle. And he's topped over there by Corkery.
Well, a lot of the Canberra players are just walking into position. They must put the effort in. It's a grand final. If they want to come up with a win, they've got to put up an 80 minutes effort in.
8 minutes before the break. It's 6-0 to Manly. Cochrane goes from dummy half. If Manly get a bit of possession in the next few minutes here, they could be dangerous. We've seen Canberra open up a few times before half-time in the semi-finals. As Vorton tries to take it ahead, he slips, then throws the pass to Cleal. Look out, this fella can go. He's dropped the ball, though. It's gone loose, and Gilbert's picked it up. But he says a knock-on. Well, he says a knock-on. We might have a look at the replay of that one.
Well, I don't agree with that. I'm sure that he knocked it back and then gained possession. So it was a very difficult one.
That's what it looked like. Knocked sideways or backwards, not knocked on by Gilbert. He certainly got a little touch to it before it hit the ground and he picked up. So Hasler will feed the scrum. Manly will get possession again. Hasler's got hold of the ball and he's quickly caught by Ivan Henjack. 10 inside the Manly half. It's Williams who uses a fend on Henjack and then scoops the ball back to Hasler. Hasler going wide, fires the pass out to Lyons, up towards the halfway mark. He's thrown the dummy, they've swallowed it. He's gone down towards the quarter. Big run by Lyons. He looks infield. This could be a try if he can link up. He's still got support. Oh, it's dropped by O'Connor. He knocked it on. O'Connor knocked it on. Cliff Lyons has run them ragged several times today. They don't want to tackle him.
No, they don't. And in that case, I think he'd thrown that many dummies. He may as well have thrown the last one because Mike O'Connor was going to run back into the defensive area and Cliff Lyons had virtually made the running for himself. Only Matthew Corkery to beat.
A knock-on and a scrum feed for Canberra. They don't want to have their line crossed before half-time here. Henjack, he's got the ball, and we've got 6.5 minutes left in this first half. It has been a danger period for the Raiders. They're down by 6 points as Belcher tries to step his way upfield. And in they come for the second and third tackle all over Gary Belcher as Vorton got him by the boot and then Daly and Cochrane finished it off. It's gone to Gary Coyne. Coyne trying to hunt the ball ahead. How can the players keep going like this in the second half? Big men pounding away at each other. It's gone to Todd. He sends it out to Henjack and Henjack is pulled down. Canberra are walking on the quarter line. It's fired away towards Meninga. He says, out of here, fellas. Kick downfield, but chase it. Where's Ronson? He's under it. He got the bounce. He's up towards the halfway mark. He hits the accelerator, and he's pulled down by O'Sullivan. 8 metres into Canberra half. It's Cochrane giving it back, and it's taken ahead by Shearer. Shearer gets a halfway around the tackle, sends it to Hasler. They're standing and delivering. Look out, fellas. Manly are going to get hot here. It's gone to Cleal. Down towards the quarter comes Cleal. Links it with Lyons. Lyons has got support on the inside. It's gone away from Ronson. It's loose, and they've knocked it on again. and Canberra have come up with the ball.
Ron Gibbs has gone to the head bin by the looks of things, and Paul Shaw, that brilliant young halfback, has come on to replace him.
And it's Belcher who's got the ball as they come back towards the quarter. Raiders taking it ahead. Brent Todd's got the ball, and he's put hard on the ground by the Manly defence. Todd to play it back. At dummy half, it's Steve Walters using a fend, but he's on the ground, stopped by Daly this time after he tried to shrug off Paul Shaw. Dummy half Coyne. Back to Meninga. Meninga rifles it downfield again. It's gone wide of Shearer. Shearer picking himself up for another effort here as he comes back downfield. He's just cruising, and as he tried to pick up speed, the defence had him on the ground. O'Sullivan there with Henjack. Now at dummy half, it's Ronson. Ronson having a go back towards the halfway mark. Any broken play situation, look out for Manly. They've had a few tries on in the last few minutes, but the last pass has gone big. And there's Vorton away towards Lyons. He's dropped the ball, and it's a knock on.
That's the first mistake Cliff Lyons made, and he was under a little bit of pressure there. The ball came to him very short, up towards his head. He almost grabbed it, but unfortunately knocked it on. Canberra's side, they're doing a little bit of walking. It's an 80-minute effort, and the next 4 minutes will really be telling for them.
David Rowlands.
Ronnie Gibbs has just walked past me, of course, as Mark said, and he's going to have some stitches in his head. He had just had a cut above his nose, and he looked in a terrible state, almost like a boxer after 12 rounds. And a little bit of relief down here. A few clouds seem to be peeling in from the west, and a little bit of a light breeze too, so there could be some relief in the second half. Let's hope so.
Nice to hear from you. We go on the blind side towards Kinner after the scrum win by the Raiders, and we're inside Manly's half as Kinner is dragged towards the touchline by Williams and Stuart Davis. They fire it back, and it's gone to Gilbert this time, and Ward's got him on the ground. 3.5 minutes left in this first period of the match, and it's 6-0 to the Sea Eagles. Here's Henjack having a crack at them. He sends it out to Bacco. He flicks it to Henjack. On it goes to O'Sullivan. A wide ball out to Corkery. Corkery trying to step, but they're there. There's plenty of defence, and Lyons has put him on the deck. 30 out, it's O'Sullivan on the blind. It's flicked up to Jackson. Jackson trying to go around the defence, and he's well stopped over there by David Ronson. Here's the last tackle. O'Sullivan puts up the bomb. They're charging it through. Who will defuse this one? Up they go, and it's well taken out over there by Cochrane. It came off his chest, and then he regathered. He's pretty good at that, Mal Cochrane, and he's hurt himself in the tackle. Mick Stone's going to have his first touch of the match. He's picked the ball up. This is the new rule that's come in during the season. If a man is injured, someone else plays it. Vorton does that. And now Davis is going to run it up for the Sea Eagles. A good take by Cochrane that time, but he's taken a knock. Paul Shaw has a go from dummy half. Another clever, elusive player. He's made a bit of a break. He has to step around a couple of them. He gets it across towards Davis, who's down in Lance's tackle at the halfway mark. 6-0 the Sea Eagles lead. Danger time here as it goes out there to Ward. Ward makes another crashing run. He's relishing the atmosphere of the big game here. It's Des Hasler. He sends it to Shearer. Shearer kicks ahead. Shearer is chasing. Belcher's back there. Let's watch the bounce. Belcher's got the ball safely. He's bringing it back upfield. And Belcher trying to step. He gets around O'Connor and he goes down in the tackle. Just under 2 minutes left in this first half. Belcher playing it to Corkery. Through his fingers. It's picked up by Henjack. Henjack caught by the Manly defence. Canberra just got to keep it pretty safe here. O'Sullivan works it up. And he's stopped by Lyons and also Ronson. Open side. It's gone out to Gilbert. Gilbert hurries it up for the Raiders. Takes it up another 10. They're battling their way upfield here through Steve Walters. It's gone away to Meninga. He decides to kick. He looks for that angle towards the touchline again and finds Shearer coming across. Some of those kicks a bit predictable as Shearer's half through a tackle, but stopped by Henjack. Just over a minute to go in the half. Shaw sends the pass out to Williams. Williams tries to dance. Coyne's got him. Pass back to Shaw. Through his legs, he's dropped it. Paul Shaw's dropped the ball. He's the man on for Gibbs, who's in the head bin. The scrum will go down. Mal Cochrane appears to have recovered from his little knock. And exactly a minute left in this first half. The scrum goes down. The Raiders will feed it. Can they create something bewildering here before half-time, just to give them a little incentive? It's in the scrum. It's still in the scrum. Henjack's waiting for it. And it's still in the scrum. It's come out Manly's way. Paul Shaw picks it up. Paul Shaw's having a go. He's up towards the halfway mark. He links it with Ronson. Ronson towards the halfway mark, but the defence was there and put him on the ground. I suppose it goes down as a tight head. There's a mob of centipedes out there. Pass goes back to Shearer. He fires it deep to Lyons. They're walking a bit out there. Lyons, he's been worrying them all day. They've let him run, but Lyons that time didn't get the ball away. 17 seconds left in this half. 6-0 Sea Eagles, middle of the field, just in Raiders' half. Here's Hasler. Hasler trying to step. He goes around and backwards. Now he straightens it. Almost slips to the ground. Sets it up for Cleel. Cleel tries to press ahead. Meninga's in there. He gets away from him. Back it goes to Hasler. Make the tackles. O'Connor thinks of a kick. The siren goes for half-time. Shaw gives it out to Lyons. Lyons has got a bit of speed. He's half through the tackle. Sends it to Shearer. It's gone to Ronson. That was a forward pass. The ball's gone back infield and it's taken out there by Kinner. The last pass was definitely forward. And in any case, Kinner was back there to save the day. He got the bounce and ran it dead. So an exciting first half. And perhaps the hottest conditions that we've ever had in a grand final here at the SCG. Manly scored a try after 26 minutes. An easy enough one from a scrum. Cliff Lyons scored the try. O'Connor added the extras. 6-0 after 26 minutes. And that was the score at half-time. And some pretty weary footballers are slowly making their way towards the dressing room, and I think they'll be looking for a big ice bucket to wallow in.
I'll say, and I see the Manly players jogging off the field, and the Canberra Raiders are walking off, and I think that's a sign of the way the game's going. Certainly the Manly side looked the more enthusiastic, and in my opinion, in the first half they were too pacey, they were too experienced, and the big thing plus in their favour was that they used the blind side and the numbers game very effectively. The Manly defence seemed to be more solid, and their teamwork was definitely more evident. They threw the ball around, as we saw in the last couple of minutes of the game. It just went from man to man to man, and the people that are, or the two players that are most constructive in the Manly side are their halfbacks, Des Hasler and Cliff Lyons. Cliff Lyons is having an absolute blinder out there. He's scored the only try of the match. He's been involved in 2 or 3 breaks, and they just don't seem to want to tackle him. He's the pivot man. He's the man that they've got to watch if they don't want Darryl Williams, Michael O'Connor and Dale Shearer to run right. And unfortunately for the Canberra side, Chris O'Sullivan at the moment is just not containing Cliff Lyons. Maybe Dean Lance has to take more responsibility in that area in cutting off lines. If O'Sullivan can get on the outside of him, bring him back in towards the forwards, and then Lance has to cover that area up. But at the moment, Manly just seem to be too good, too experienced, and certainly Canberra were wilting towards the latter half of that half. In the last 10 minutes, I'd say there were quite a few times where Canberra had opportunities. They didn't have the support play, and then they relied on their cover defence to come up with the tackles against the Manly side. Canberra need to go out in the second half. They need to use the kicking game a bit more, not necessarily straight to the fullback, but a few chips just to turn the defence around. Look for the grubber kicks, look for the line, put the bombs up, just vary their game as they have done in the past. Today they're a little bit too predictable. They need to throw the ball around, support the ball carrier, and put pressure on Manly. At the moment they're not doing it. Manly look the better side. They're certainly throwing the ball around. The Canberra defence are tiring, and at the moment it looks like a comfortable Manly victory if that trend continues.
Well, at the moment there's going to be a salute to the grand final teams who have played at the SCG to mark this final rugby league match at the ground, and it includes appearances by representatives of every club to have played a grand final here. And Reg Gasnier is down there at the moment, and he's also a busy man today because he's judging the Clive Churchill medalist along with Johnny Raper and Bob Fulton, the players who were chosen as the Rugby League Immortals. So they'll be judging the Clive Churchill medal. So Reg is here and there and all about the place today. He's almost as busy as he was when he was playing for St George. So a number of these former greats are being introduced to the crowd during the half-time break, with Manly 6 leading Canberra 0. Bill.
Well, the statistics, the scrums are favouring Manly 8-5, and they've had that one tight head. It's a rough old tight head, but it was a tight head. And the penalties are favouring Canberra 4-2. The kicks in general play 14 all. The tacklers, the top tackling back for Manly is Cliff Lyons on 11, Des Hasler with 11. In the forwards, Paul Vaughton 16, Noel Cleel 6, Ron Gibbs 13, Kevin Ward 17, so the heat's not worrying him, Mal Cochran 14 and Phil Daly 13. For Canberra, their top tackling back is Chris Sullivan with 10, Ivan Henjack with 11. In the forwards, remember this is a grand final, Dean Lance 17, Gary Coyne 15, Ashley Gilbert 7, Sam Bacco 7, Steve Walters 16, Brent Todd 14.
Thanks, Bill. And Gary Cook, who was here for the reserve grade game, won 11-0 by Penrith over Manly, has joined us as we look down on this vast crowd at the SCG. And Gary, what about the first half?
I think somebody's really going to have to perform a miracle in the Canberra dressing room at half-time. Otherwise, we're going to see a cricket score. The way this game has gone, as the first half wore on, the gaps started to appear. The distance between the two teams starting to widen, and Manly started to play some of that razzle-dazzle football that we know that they can play. There was plenty of enthusiasm from the Canberra team early, and I thought they were in it with a real chance, but they seem to have lost all that zest. Even their fullback Gary Belcher, who's a sparkling player, he was dragging his legs in the last 10 minutes of this match, and that doesn't augur well for some of the heavier players. I thought there were some very impressive performances from their prop forwards Sam Bacco and Brent Todd early in the first half, but they've run out of steam. In the Manly Warringah team, Cliff Lyons and Des Hasler. Well, Lyons is just having a picnic out there as the half wears on, and I think Des Hasler is showing some signs that he's ready to cut loose. He's hovering around the rucks. He's waiting for the big men to burst through, and he's there to pick the crumbs up as he always does. So the Manly Warringah team at this stage starting to look most impressive. I thought their prop forward Kevin Ward, who, as we know, came out earlier in the week from England, and everybody thought the conditions might be a little bit trying for him, is having a superb game. He hasn't wilted one little bit. He's played strongly. He's run the ball up particularly well. Phil Daly's played well. Noel Cleal, of course, picking the moment to come in, and Paul Vaughton having a particularly strong game as well. Michael O'Connor and Dale Shearer starting to do a few of those little kicks and chase that they're famous for, and going close to scoring a couple of times. Out in the Canberra three-quarter line, Mal Meninga is not able to contain these speedy players. They're able to step around him. I noticed in the latter part of that half he's grasping at them, not bringing them down. And really, unless there's a miracle, I can't see Canberra being within cooey as this game wears on.
Well, it'll be very interesting to see what quality their replacements can bring to the performance, because I'm sure that 10 or 15 minutes into the second half they'll be looking for them, and hopefully they won't be looking at a score of 15-0 up on the board, Mark.
No, well, they'll be looking at Kevin Walters to come onto the field. They'll also be looking at Terry Regan, possibly Les Morrissey as the replacements. And maybe they need well, it depends on the situation. At the moment, it's only 6-0. Although Manly look by far the better side, it's only a converted try away, and that can come from a rebound. It can come from anything. So reserve judgment on Canberra at the moment, at least for the first 10 minutes into the second half. But if their defensive performances don't lift, and if they don't contain Lyons and Hasler, they may as well just not come out the second half, because those players are capable of cutting any side to ribbons, and already they've done so in the first half to the Canberra defence. Lyons is magnificent, and Hasler's not far behind him.
For extreme entertainment, stream comedy whenever you like on ABC iView.
That's so cool.
Extreme feel-goods with Ghosts, Ronnie Cheng, international student, and Summer Love.
Never hold back, kids.
Extreme funnies from the Melbourne International Comedy Festival.
That means a lot.
And extreme good times with Starstruck, Peep Show, and Fisk.
Why would you say that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's Extreme Comedy Gold.
So cool.
And you can stream it all for free on ABC iView. ABC Sport Digital Radio, your home of NRL.
And back here, the Manly players in a huddle before the start of the second half. Canberra all spread out. I wonder if this was something that was worked out in the dressing room, that once they got on the field, they just give Canberra a moment or two to bask in the sun before they got underway with this second half. So Manly will kick off in the second half. They're leading 6-0 after a try to Cliff Lyons and a goal kicked by Michael O'Connor. And it'll be the Raiders defending that Paddington or Noble stand end of the SCG in the second half. And it'll be a mighty performance by the Raiders if they win the game from here. It really will be. In these very hot conditions, they seem to have come out worst so far. Another 40 minutes to go, and they've had a good break at half-time. As Mark Levy was saying, there's probably almost 20 minutes at half-time today. And O'Connor restarts the game. There's the long kick by O'Connor. It bounces wide of O'Sullivan. And it's missed down there by Bacco. Eventually it's got to by Belcher. Belcher trying to get back upfield, and he gets back into the field of play. And they're going to give a penalty against Bacco for obstruction there, I think. Or was that a Shepherd in front of the post? I saw Bacco walk in front of someone.
It was a Shepherd, but I really think that's nitpicking.
Yes.
If we can see that possibly again on the monitor. But I don't think he was anywhere... Well, I don't think he was all that close to the player with the ball. You can see him there now, and it's moot point whether that Manly player would have got close to him to make the tackle.
That's a ridiculous penalty for mine. Sam Bacco had every right to be standing there, and the Manly player seemed to run into him rather than the opposite applying.
Quite right, Mark.
So Mick Stone has given an easy penalty to Manly at the start of the second half. This to make it 8-0. O'Connor shouldn't miss this. He could throw it over, but he's got to kick it over. That's the only way he can score it, and he's done that. No trouble. So Manly lead Canberra 8-0, and it did seem a pretty footling sort of penalty to give against the Raiders side. Saw Sam Bacco was probably being a bit lazy down on the line, but he didn't seem to be doing too much to get in Cochrane's way.
Well, for a start, this is the second week in a row where we've seen Bacco being the last line of defence on the line. Last week he knocked on and caused the Canberra side all ends of pressure, and now he missed with trying to stop the ball with his foot. And then, although I disagreed with the penalty, the obstruction was given, so I don't know why they've got Sam Bacco at the back.
It's a cruel blow in the first minute of the second half, too, to find Canberra going in at 6-0. Now they are more than a converted try behind.
So Manly, after the kick-off, are back near the halfway mark with Kevin Ward. He's going to play the ball away to Mal Cochrane. Here's Hasler swinging it out to Lyons. The danger's there with Williams. Williams trying to slice his way through is tackled by O'Sullivan. Just short of halfway. Here comes the Sea Eagles. Offend by Lyons, but he can't deliver the pass as he's put down by Henjack. He's going to play the ball back. Last tackle. Cochrane hits it ahead on his right boot and into touch it goes. Good kick by Cochrane. He sized up the situation well. Saw some room on the blind side, aimed the kick and found touch 20 from the Raiders line.
Yes, good play by the Manly side. Mal Cochrane there just finding touch. His players will be very, very settled at the moment. They're more than a converted try in front. They'll just have to do the things they do best all day.
So they're trying to bring it out here at Canberra. They almost lost the ball after the scrum win with Belcher's pass squeezed away there to O'Sullivan, who just held on to the ball. Now it's Meninga making a half burst out wide, and he's pulled down there by Williams, who's watching him closely, as he said he would before the game. And Brent Todd's got the ball out now to Corkery, who's picked up on the end of the line by Ronson, just outside the Raiders' quarter. They swing it from Lance. Inside it goes from Henjack. Across the paddock, it's Belcher trying to step, and in they go, gang tackling there a bit. A couple of them came in with Ward, Daly and Lyons to finish it off. They're going to kick. Meninga's got the ball, and it comes off a Manly player. It's gone sideways, and it's dropped over there by Brent Todd, but backwards, and the count starts again. Intentionally played by Manly, so the Raiders bring it out. It's Steve Walters, one off the ruck. They're just walking a bit here. Belcher, he can run, and he sets the play up for Gilbert, and Gilbert thrown to the ground, loses the ball, and Vorton's come up with it. Well, Canberra's still looking pretty tired out there at the moment. Starting the second half, it's gone to Hasler. He sends it out from Cochrane. It goes to Lyons. There's O'Connor. O'Connor comes down towards the quarter, spins it to Shearer. Shearer's got support. He takes the tackle. Stopped by Lance, 30 metres out from the line. Manly leading 8-0. Cleal sends it from Lyons. It goes to O'Connor. He fires it wide to Gibbs. Gibbs has got support. There's Williams down towards the quarter. He goes. He's heading for the corner, and he's just tackled in the last minute into touch by Mal Meninga. Otherwise, Williams could have been in. He picked up speed as he saw that the defence was hanging off, but Meninga got him and put him into touch.
Yes, it was a very good tackle. It looked as though Darryl Williams had beaten Meninga. Meninga came at him, dived at him, great cover defensive tackle. We've got the official attendance too, Jim, 50,201 at the grand final.
50,201, the last crowd at the SCG for a league match, and a good one too, as Corkery tries to run it out. Let's go down to David Rowland's for a report from the dressing room.
Well, both sides were remarkably composed at half-time for a grand final. And, of course, I'm sure that 16 or 17 minutes, well, that's what my Casio said anyway, half-time break would have done the world of good. But there's some very, very tired boys out here. And the shadows coming across, a little bit of breeze at Canberra's back at the moment to this breeze. So if they get a bit of ball, there could be a little bit of gain there in the kicking side of it. The instructions, well, from Canberra, they just want to... as there's a break on here from Canberra...
It's quickly back to the halfway mark. Away you go.
The Canberra instructions were certainly to tighten their defence up. Manly were making far too many half breaks for their liking. And, well, they really stressed just a big guts effort. They've come this far, and the instructions were simply to give it all they've got. For Manly, they were very confident. They feel they should be further ahead as Jackson goes.
Jackson's down to the quarter. He gives it back to Meninga. He's heading for the line back to Jackson. Jackson's picked up by the defence. Daly went a bit high. He might be setting to the bin here. Daly certainly went high. It was a rather tired sort of reflex action from Daly as Jackson tried to step. He certainly went high and collected Jackson there. Jackson's down. The Raiders get a penalty. They really wanted to try, though, there.
Oh, they didn't. I thought they had the numbers there, too. I think they mucked around a bit. They possibly should have gone on the outside and just deliberate passing, but crisscrosses, I thought, mucked them up a little bit. It was definitely high on Jackson, but I think the referee's taken the right action in just giving the penalty.
I agree, Mark. If Daly wanted to, he could have taken Jackson's head off. He held it back, but it was high and legit penalty.
Good run there, though. Jackson and Meninga involved, and it looked like a good lead to a try. So Meninga's going to have a shot at goal. He's about 15 to 20 metres away from the post and just to the left. A comfortable kick for him at that range, but anyone can miss them from there just as easy as they can kick them. For Canberra's sake, let's hope he puts it through and gets them on the board to bring it back to a converted try difference. 7 minutes into the second half. Both teams looking a bit weary. Maybe Canberra just a bit more than Manly, but a try for them could change all that. Here comes Meninga's kick. He's hit it okay, and he's got it. The Raiders are on the board, and listen to their fans. All those flags out on the hill are being waved about deliriously now in the hope that Canberra can get into this game. They trail 8-2 with something like 7 minutes gone in this second half as Manly bring it back for the restarted play. Over 50,000 fans at the SCG for the last game of rugby league before we go to the new complex next season. But here's O'Connor. He's restarting the action. He sends it down deep. And this time Belcher takes it on the full. He gives the pass to Bacco. And Bacco keenly takes it upfield. And he's stopped over there by Lyons and Hasler. Now it's gone to Henjak. Henjak trying to crab his way through them, and Cochrane's got him on the ground. He's going to play the ball back, and in there it's Walters giving it out to Gilbert. And Gilbert tackled over there by Daly along with Cochrane. Canberra send it back again. It's Todd. Brent Todd. His ankle doesn't seem to have bothered him. A short pass goes to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan throws it. It's gone straight to Cochrane. He didn't set the man up that time. He just threw the ball, and Cochrane said thanks, and he's been pushed into touch, and he's going to play the touch.
That's better football by the Raiders. They made the gap. O'Sullivan was involved, and then all of a sudden when Manly got the ball, we saw Jackson, Walters, and also Corkery, or was it Kinner, combined to drag the player out. It was Cochrane.
Henjak's going to feed the scrum 5 metres in Manly's half. The Raiders fans are giving their team plenty of encouragement. Henjak's got the ball. He sends it to O'Sullivan. A wide pass goes out to Meninga, who just got to the ball in time. O'Connor set himself to make the tackle on Big Mal, and they coincided, the ball and the tackle, as it goes to Belcher. Belcher around Williams, who hung on and made an excellent tackle. Darryl Williams, underestimated, very efficient, and a fast runner too. Now Corkery on the runaround gets it off Coyne, and he's just inside the Manly half. On that hard part of the ground, he's going to play it back to Steve Walters. There's Gilbert having a go. Gilbert takes it up on the blind side of the ruck. Come on, the Raiders. Into the game, fellas. Steve Walters goes to Henjak. He fires it out to O'Sullivan. Here's Jackson. Jackson trying to step ahead, and he's down at the tackle of Cleal. 11 metres in the half. Here comes the last one. It's gone to O'Sullivan. He bombs it. He's put it up high. Where's the diffuser? It's Hasler. It's lost by Hasler, picked up by Shearer. Shearer into a half break, pops it up. It's gone to Lyons. Away goes Cliff Lyons again. He throws a dummy. He straightens over halfway, and he tries to step again. He's away from another tackle, and he had a few men around him. Gee, they've allowed him to run all day.
He should have let it go, though, Jim. Had the break out wide, but he hung on to it.
Now it's Ward, and Ward, one off, is trying to take a few with him as he's put down on the ground by Todd. 40 metres out in the middle. It's Cochrane from dummy half going straight ahead. 30 metres out now come the Sea Eagles. Here's Hasler. He goes from dummy half. And Hasler trying to get away from the defence. Sends it back to Cochrane. He's into a half gap. He's kicked ahead. He's chasing the ball and he'll get there first. Corkery got there first to force the ball. And it'll be a drop from under the posts.
Good play by Cochrane and Hasler, both running from dummy half, both making easy yardage up the middle, and then Cochrane with the little chip kick, but Matthew Corkery is just too quick. Paul Shaw is coming back onto the field, and he's going to be replacing, was it Noel Cleal?
It looks like, I think you're right there. I'll just watch him go up the race. I think it's, let's go down to David Rowlands.
Yes, Noel Cleal just has a little cut on the forehead, nothing too major. But Crusher, I noticed in the last few minutes, has also been feeling the pinch, just hanging a little wide out, having the odd breather. It must be very tough for the big man like him. But once again, it can be classified as a head injury, so he's off. And Paul Shaw, who can make a break, he'll be handy in these few next 10 minutes or so.
Now, Ronson's got the ball after the drop. This is where Canberra are going to have to watch their defence. It's Shaw from dummy half. He's dancing around. He sent it out to Vaughton. Vaughton steps, gives it to Gibbs. Gibbs has a look, and he's put down by, he's stopped by Henjack and Jackson. 30 metres out, he'll play it to Paul Shaw. He gives it to Daly, who has a run. They're all offside, Canberra. Inside the 5. They were rather wearily moving up. The touch judge has come on to report a replacement. Kevin Walters is coming on for Mal Meninga. Big Mal's off, and Kevin Walters is on. So, although Meninga's contribution to the scoreboard hasn't been as great as last week, he's had some influence on the game without really being able to make a try. Created a couple of opportunities, but he's been replaced by Kevin Walters, and O'Connor's going to have a shot at goal from a fairly handy spot just inside the quarter under the left of the posts.
Well, I'm afraid to say it, but I think that was a bit of nitpicking too. I thought the Canberra side were back effectively enough, but the referee, he's on the spot. He was marking the spot and has given another penalty.
O'Connor just to the left of the posts. This should be an easy enough one for him to make the difference. 8 points again. O'Connor coming in with his right boot around the corner. He's got it built on a little castle. He moves in and hits it. 2 points. Well, why would you bother practicing when you can hit them like that over the black dot every time? Well, admittedly, they've all been fairly simple kicks, but he hasn't missed. And it's 10-2 to Manly, 12 minutes into the second half, Reg.
It's always nice to have a kicker of his ability. There's no doubt about that, O'Connor. He seems to have all the confidence in the world, straight over the black dot, as you said, and gee, it gives the team a lot of confidence in matches like this. That 2 points, just keeping them ahead. 8 points the difference. It's Manly doing it well. Canberra, of course, they've got to start throwing the ball around. They've got to start moving it to bridge the gap. But Manly, well, I can't see them. They'll be still keeping it tight. Again, I think we can see probably more from the likes of Williams and Shearer, O'Connor. As I said later in my preview, I thought that in the second half Manly would take charge. That's not happening yet, but I feel that, another 10 or 15 minutes, we could see Manly surge away.
Well, Ward's made a good run there up on the blind side of the ruck. He took a few with him. Now Hasler's having a go from dummy half. There's a bit of running going on here from the base of the ruck. Just going straight ahead is Shaw now as he sets the play up. Cochrane's given it out to O'Connor, up towards the halfway mark. He's stepping well. He's back in field, trying to link up, and he sends the pass back to Shaw. Now Shaw's dangerous. Canberra have got to make the tackles. Manly are being allowed to run a little bit here, and they're revelling in it. Lyons from dummy half, 30 metres out. It's gone loose back towards Vaughton. It's scooped over the top by Shearer to Gibbs. He sends it out there to Williams, down to the quarter. Williams is stopped right on the quarter by O'Sullivan. It's the last tackle. Lyons says, let's go, fellas, and Shearer's going to put it across field this time, wide of Walters. They're coming through. They could be offside out there. What's he going to rule?
It's a try.
It's a try. He's ruled a try. He's ruled a try to O'Connor. Well, O'Connor came up very fast, and it'll be interesting to see what happened there. There was no doubt about it. Walters was caught out of position, Kevin Walters. The kick went ahead from Shearer. It was loose in goal. They came flying through, and O'Connor got to the ball all right. He got there first. to make it 14-2 in favour of Manly. Shearer had plenty of time to line up his kick and put it across the paddock at the angle we watch on the monitor here. But if O'Connor wasn't 5 metres offside, I'm a dead man.
Well, certainly looked that way. We couldn't see it on the screen, but looking at it on the live, it certainly seemed that Mike O'Connor was at least a couple of metres offside, as was his wing three-quarter. Well, who got within 5 metres of the ball and therefore should be ruled offside too.
Well, I just couldn't believe it. As soon as I saw Shearer kick it and the Manly players there, I mean, I know they're quick, but they had to be in front of Shearer. He kicked the ball just outside the quarter, and O'Connor was 15 metres from the line within half a second. So if he wasn't 5, he was at least 2 metres in front of the kicker. So I reckon that's a pretty lucky try to Manly, and it's a pity in a way as far as the game's concerned, because it's going to make it very, very tough for Canberra from here. 14-2 to Manly, and they've had the better of the whistle in this second half for sure. So O'Connor 10 metres from touch to add the extras. He's about 20 metres out from the line. He comes in around the corner. Let's see if he can kick this. He's lifted it. It's looking good. It's there. 4 out of 4 for Michael O'Connor, and Manly 16 lead Canberra 2.
Yes, well, Canberra, it's going to be very difficult for them to get back into the game. They've got to score 3 times. I don't think they can do it. Surely that would have knocked the confidence completely out of them, and they'll give 100% effort in the last 24 minutes, but it's Manly's premiership.
So back to the halfway mark. Canberra, who've looked a little bit weary in this second half, have got a lot to do. Now Noel Cleale's just coming back down the race there with strong man, the physio for Manly, Brian Hollis, with him. And Cleale's been in the head bin. Looks like he's ready to come on the paddock as Ronson goes up from the kick-off. And he's held by the defence. Gillett went in, looked like he was trying to rip it free, but he didn't. Manly give it to Ward, and Ward bangs his way ahead. It was worth the plane trip back from Castleford for him and for Manly. He's gone well. Here goes Daly. He hunts it up again for the Sea Eagles. They're 30 metres out from their line. They're going to play it to Hasler. Hasler goes across, sets it up for Shaw. Now Shaw's into a bit of a gap up towards the halfway mark. Look out, Canberra. It could be a cricket score if you don't make some tackles. Shaw plays it on the halfway mark. Here's Vaughton. Vaughton looks, sends it away to Shearer. Shearer's half into a slot. He throws it over the top. There's O'Connor down towards the quarter. He's got Davis coming on the inside, but the tackle is made over there by Jackson. 20 metres out. It's gone to Shearer. It's the last tackle. He steps. He throws the ball back. It's gone to Davis. Davis, about 10 out from the line, pops it back to Shearer. He puts in a kick. It's gone in goal, and it's Gibbs who comes in looking for the ball, and the ball is kicked across the goal towards Kinner, who picks up and runs it dead. Belcher had to come in as he saw Gibbs flying for the ball, and his kick ended up with Kinner, who took it dead in goal. It'll be a drop under the post. 22 minutes to go, and Manly leads 16-2.
The signs aren't looking very good for Canberra. Once Manly starts spreading this ball and the speedmen take charge, as Canberra fail to move up, as they get tired and they give Manly that room to move, I think that the outside backs for Manly can carve them up. It just seems to be there. That's what's going to happen, I feel.
Now, down on the paddock there, David Rowlands, is that the Crusher's on again?
Yeah, Crusher's back on. He's had his little rest, and Paul Shaw's gone off. Also, we've got Terry Regan warming up down here on the sideline, preparing probably Brent Todd, we think, but Canberra haven't made a decision yet. Todd's still battling ahead, and, Canberra, Manly have already started celebrating down here. I can hear the two-way walkie-talkies. There's a smile on Bobby Fulton's face, and if you can get Bobby Fulton smiling, well, they've achieved something.
It's Cleale with the ball, in fact, 10 metres out from the posts. Manly looking pretty businesslike here. They should be confident. They lead by 14. They can use their tricks here as Cochrane kicks ahead. He's after the ball, and it's taken dead by Belcher. Good play by Manly. Again, the ball kicked in goal, and so it'll be a drop from under the post, and Manly will get possession. And they're leading by 14 points with just over 20 minutes left.
Well, they're doing it well because they're varying their play. They'll throw the ball wide, they'll throw it to the blind side, they'll use the little chip kick and the grubber kick. Mal Cochrane's running from dummy half, so too is Des Hasler. They're using their forwards effectively, and they're using the blind side. They're varying their play. They look the better side, they look a superior side, and as Reg suggested, if they throw the ball around, then more tries will come.
It's Lyons with the ball, 20 out from the line. He's playing it back to Des Hasler. He has a run up on the blind side. He almost gets through. He's got a good turn of pace and a nice step, and he almost got right through the middle. It's fired back to Ward, and Ward is stopped over there by Coyne, but he comes again, throws the ball awkwardly, and it's knocked on over there by Cochrane, and referee Stone says let's have a scrum in front of the posts. Come on, Raiders, bit of possession. Let's see what you can do. They tried, certainly, to warm us all up, and all your supporters who've come down to see the game.
I think a message will go out to the Manly players too, that I wouldn't start lighting the candles just yet. The game's not over. They're hungry for another try.
And the scrum is fed there by Hasler, so Canberra must have made the first infringement there in that play. And as Vaughton caught with the ball, he sent it back to Cleal, but it's gone forward. Mick Stone was right alongside that one and didn't miss it. Second time Manly have been pulled up for a forward pass when a try was on, as Vaughton got in just a little one towards Cleal, and I don't think there was much doubt about that one being forward.
No, I don't think there's been much doubt about either of them, and referee Stone was on the spot.
Now Henjack will feed the scrum, a chance for Canberra to get the ball. They've got it on the blind side. It's gone to Belcher. Belcher down towards the quarter, has Corkery there. He pops him the ball. Corkery bumps at the defence, but Ronson makes the tackle. 35 out from the Raiders line. They're moving back upfield. They've got a lot to do in this game as Lance fires it wide. It's O'Sullivan. He sees an opening. He comes around Lyons. He gets past him and Vaughton. And it's Gibbs who makes the tackle. Kevin Walters, he's a dummy half. He gives it to Brent Todd. Over the top it goes. One bounce out to Kinner. Did well to pick it up. And Kinner is held on to by Stuart Davis. And in comes Williams to finish off. Near halfway, it's Steve Walters having a run at Vaughton. Daly's in there. Somehow the pass went up towards Kevin Walters, and he takes it at Kevin Ward and Daly. We're 10 inside the Manly half. The Raiders with the ball on the blind. Here's Jackson. Jackson has a crack at them, and he's put down by Williams, who hasn't shirked the defensive effort all day. Last tackle. It's gone out from Kevin Walters. There's O'Sullivan. He has a look. He's into a bit of a slot. He straightens, and now he's going to try and cut through them with another dancing run. Over the top, he sends the pass wide. Belcher pops it up to Corkery. He takes it well, and Corkery gathered in by the defence, but it's a handover. Handover, last tackle. Well, credit to Canberra. They tried to keep it alive, but they couldn't break the defence. Now Manly, they'll bring it back. Ronson goes from dummy half, and Ronson's back over the quarter line. Manly have only got to play it safe and make a few tackles, and they've got it won as Cleal goes away on the blind side. Now he's going to play it back. It's Cochrane giving the ball away to Williams. Williams goes hard, throws an awkward ball, well picked up by Cochrane. Cochrane steps and slips, and he's just short of the halfway mark. Here's Hasler, blind side. It's Shearer who kicks down the touchline. It's bouncing towards the corner. Back there is Gary Belcher. Belcher's picking it up now. He comes out towards the quarter, and he's stopped by Ronson and Hasler.
A lot of weary fellows out there, Jim. I just noticed the chasers. They weren't real smart to get onto the ball. And I noticed Canberra too. They're starting to slow up well and truly.
Well, Gary Belcher was not in position for that kick, and took him quite some time to get back there. But the chasers weren't very enthusiastic about it either.
Kevin Walters with Jackson. They made a bit of a burst. Here's O'Sullivan supporting well up towards the halfway mark. Henjack is with him. O'Sullivan throws a dummy. And O'Sullivan proving a bit of a spark in this Canberra attack at the moment, as he's done throughout the 6 years he's been there since they came into the competition. It's Backo. He got it away to Henjack. They sent it out towards Belcher. Belcher throws a dummy, and he almost got away with it too. But Ronson made the tackle inside the quarter. Here comes Canberra with Brent Todd. They fire it out to Kevin Walters. He throws a dummy and tries to slice his way through, but he's tackled by Vaughton. It's the last tackle. There's a little grubber by Steve Walters. It's bouncing awkwardly. Whoops, Lyons has got it. And they come through on Lyons. And he sort of half steps and then falls to the ground, just 2 metres away from his line. It's Dale Shearer running it out from dummy half. 16 minutes to go. It's 16-2 to Manly. Shearer is on the ground, and he's taking his time to get back to his feet to play the ball. He plays it now. Cochrane gives it to Daly. And Daly puts his head down and takes it up. 20 out from the line. He plays it back. Cochrane gives it to Cleal. Cleal goes up. We're back towards the quarter. The Crush is going to play it. Cochrane is going to go up the middle, and he's going to penalise the Raiders. Offside in the ruck. So Manley will kick for touch. And another replacement coming on, David Rowlands.
Terry Regan is the man, as we said before, coming on. Brent Todd hobbles off. And also we've got Mark Pocock down here on the sideline getting ready for Manly. It remains to be seen who he's replacing. Also, Ronnie Gibbs just walked past me, concussed as usual, but a great competitor, Gibbsy. And Paul Shaw on again.
He loves it. It's Ward back towards the halfway mark after the tap. Cochrane gives it to Daly. Daly going up strongly again and finally put down by Regan, Terry Regan, along with Sam Backo. Not so much seen of Backo in this half as it goes from Hasler out towards Vaughton, and Vaughton bumps ahead, put down by Coyne. Right on halfway, Manly. They lead 16-2. Open side from Shaw. He gives it to Lyons. Lyons is looking to Williams. It's popped up to Shearer. Here's O'Connor. O'Connor trying to step, but he's ridden to the ground over there by Kevin Walters. Still near halfway come Manly. Shearer tries to kick. It comes off the shoulder of Kevin Walters, up in the air and out. It's gone into touch on that Pat Hill side of the ground. It'll be a scrum. Manly have got the game under control. 6-0 at half-time, 16-2 now.
Yes, they're playing the game in the right spirit now. They're just taking it up from dummy half. They're still moving the ball when they feel it necessary, but they're not committing errors.
Shaw from the scrum has got the ball. Hasler's playing lock at the moment. Here's Vaughton. He sends it out to Lyons. Lyons steps past Regan, who came up fast, and Lyons stopped there by Steve Walters. Almost at the halfway mark. It's Manly with the ball. It goes to Kevin Ward. He bangs it ahead. He's had a big game, this fella.
He's had a big game. In fact, it's been the strength of the Manly front row forwards, I think, that have got them into this position.
Now Shaw's got the ball. He sends it back to Williams. Williams looks for support. There's Lyons, and Lyons gives it to Hasler. Hasler stepping well. He's got support. It's Paul Shaw back to Lyons. Lyons has a look. Over the top it goes to O'Connor. He heads for the line. Is it a try? Yes, no, it's a try. It's a forward pass. Anti-climax. Sorry about that.
Well, I thought the pass... That one looked all right, didn't it?
That one looked all right, did it?
Yeah, it looked from here it did. Because the angle of wear on is pretty hard to tell, but it was a floater. You're always suspect.
Mick Stone was right alongside it, there's that to be said, and Lyons held it up for a long time.
Well, we're seeing it on replay now on the big screen. And
the angle won't be too special up there, but have a look. Canberra have got a penalty from the scrum. There goes Lyons with the big float. Could have been.
1 metre. 1 metre. The referee was right.
I think he's made a few blues today, but that one looked to be right too.
Okay.
Poor old referee, eh?
Well, you can't win.
Back to the halfway mark. I don't think there's any doubt about the team that's been on top, even if they kind of perhaps was offside at a try. Manly probably still be in front. Here come the Raiders as it goes to Gilbert over halfway. They're trying hard with the ball. Let's see what they can do here. They're inside the Manly half. Steve Walters gives it from Coyne on the inside. They go the blind. Here's Backo running off Lance. Backo is dragged to the ground. They have the ball stolen from Backo, and Davis has come up with it for Manly. Big Sam lost it. Davis is going to play it. You can hear the players shouting there, come on, we've got 10 to go. O'Connor takes it up on the blind. He went loose on the ground and he says he lost it. It'll be a scrum. 12 minutes left. 16-2. Manly in front.
Well, I think it's got to be for now. If Canberra are going to get back into the game, if they're going to win the game, they've got to get over the Manly's line the next couple of minutes. I can't see it, but they're certainly going to have to try. They've got to spread this ball wide. Get that full back in the back line. Get Belcher up there and try it out wide. This is their chance. Kick into the corner, then put it on.
Well, they've got to score 3 times in just under 12 minutes, Reg. I don't think they can do it, but their enthusiasm has to lift. They've got to get themselves back in with a chance anyway. Now's the chance to do it, as you say, because they'll be within the 22, and those two little men, Chris O'Sullivan, Kevin Walters, will give them direction.
They've got a penalty from the scrum, and they're about 20 metres out with a tap. Terry Regan, he runs through walls, but he doesn't run through the defence because he ran into that big man over there, Kevin Ward. He stopped him immediately. Chris O'Sullivan goes from dummy half. Wharton makes the tackle. 5 metres out. Steve Walters is in there. He's been hurt there, Chris O'Sullivan. Steve Walters looks for a runner. It's Coyne. Coyne trying to work his way through them. Manly's defence looking solid. Here's Henjak. Henjak gives the ball, and O'Sullivan scores. Oh, dear.
Well,
straight through.
I think that was a ploy. O'Sullivan was down injured, and I'm sure that he said, look, we'll do this little reverse. And he got up off the ground as Henjack was coming across, got inside him and went over for the try. But I definitely think it was a ploy.
I think the Manly fellas realised they've been conned.
Here he is, O'Sullivan's getting up off the ground, and there he goes, in between the gap for the try.
They all thought he was down, ready to receive the Zambuck, or the runner. He came up like Lazarus from the dead, took the pass from Henjack, and raced in for an easy try. And O'Sullivan's perhaps been their most exciting player in attack today, and that makes it, with a sniff of hope, 16-6 and a kick to come.
Yes, and Peter Jackson, I must give him a rap too. I think he's had a magnificent game for the Canberra side. A little bit quieter this second half in the last 5 or 10 minutes, but Jackson and O'Sullivan certainly have been their inspiration.
Extraordinary little try. O'Sullivan looked to have taken a knock. He was on the ground, and Henjack got the ball. He showed it as he ran across, and O'Sullivan got to his feet, took the ball, and the Manly players said, "What?" And he scored the try while they were looking.
Well, I was pleased to see it, Jim, because those two little fellows have really had a magnificent season.
There's the kick. Belcher gets the kick. So 16-8, 9 minutes to go.
They've had a tremendous season. They've combined well. They've got Canberra, certainly helped Canberra get to the grand final. That's going to give them a lot of confidence. They've combined well all the year. Henjack, O'Sullivan, the showing the ball, it's always on. Manly fell for it. A good try.
David, a couple of changes for Manly. We've got Crusher Cleal is off now, having a rest on the bench, and Ronnie Gibbs now on the touchline, appearing to come back from the head bin. Yes, here he comes, and or is he? No, Paul Shaw's going to stay on, and who wouldn't want to leave the SCG when you're leading in a grand final? It's a great moment for Manly, but I just don't want, as Reg said before, they don't want to start popping champagne corks yet. Plenty of time to go.
So Pocock on the paddock for the Sea Eagles. Jackson gives it to Bacco. Bacco back towards the quarter. So Canberra now with a last lease of life for the season here. As they give it out to O'Sullivan, it's fired to Gilbert. Gilbert throws a dummy. Over there is Ward, who rides into the ground. We're on the Canberra quarter. They're trailing by 8 points. Gary Belcher sends the pass. Oh, but Jackson's knocked it and knocked it on. Just a bit tired. He went for that ball. His fingers were fatigued as he stretched to grab it and knocked it down. So Manly will feed the scrum, leading 16-8, 8.5 minutes left. Shaw's going to feed the scrum. Hasler's the lock, and Shaw's knocked the ball on at the scrum after they've won it.
That's the very thing that they didn't want. Again, they can't be too complacent, Manly.
Canberra feed the scrum now. Manly got the ball all right, but Shaw made a mess of it. Henjack doesn't. He gives it out there to Belcher. Belcher stepping well, backing towards the forwards, and he's on the ground. Belcher plays the ball for the Raiders, and it goes from Coyne, and Regan's on the ground, back towards halfway. They're coming on the blind. Henjack's there. Henjack trying to fire up some attack, but Pocock's got him 5 short of the halfway mark. Steve Walters dummy half, blindside again. It's Jackson there. Jackson trying to go ahead, throws the ball in the air. Corkery was taken out of the play. It's a penalty to Canberra for sure. They took Corkery out before he could get the pass. It wasn't a very good play by Canberra. I suppose luckily they've got the penalty, but Daly certainly came in on Corkery before he could get the ball.
Well, Manly are making some silly errors and some unforced ones. There's a couple of knock-ons and now holding the man off the ball. Another penalty is going to put them almost to the 22, and there's a chance that Canberra can get back into this game.
I think there's a few of those Manly players are starting to talk about or think about their victory speech. I want to get their mind back on the job of winning the game. Worry about the celebrations later.
Gibbs is back on the field. Shaw's off now. Shaw on again, off again. Regan is going to play the ball. Manly coming up close to offside that time as Bacco is driven by the defence into the ground. Just inside the Manly quarter. The Raiders fans are screaming here. Steve Walters on the inside to Gilbert. Gilbert rushes towards the line. He's only a few metres short. 5 metres short of the line. A great chance for the Raiders. They play it back. Belcher. It goes from Lance out towards Jackson. Jackson's cut down. 5 metres from the corner post. He plays it to Corkery. He throws a dummy and heads for the line. He almost squeezes through. Last tackle coming up right on the Manly line. Steve Walters is in there. 8 points the difference. Walters puts in a kick. It's knocked down by Manly. They've knocked it on. And he's going to give a penalty for the offside. Manly player in front of Ward.
Well, if he's going to give a penalty for offside, it's a wonder it's not right out here under the sticks, because O'Connor and Lyons, and look, even now where Stuart Davis is, 3 metres in front of the post.
The miles offside.
Now Jackson just bringing it up for the tap with Coyne. Coyne's going to take the tap. If they're going to score, they've got to do it right now. Coyne is pushed back.
I would have been inclined to have a shot at goal and make the difference 6 points. Still 5 minutes to go. They may not get an opportunity even if they score for a penalty shot.
Now it's Lance with the ball. He's 12 metres out as he tried to burrow into the ruck. They play it to Steve Walters. He almost knocked on.
I think he did.
He has knocked on. He's pulled him up for a knock on. He just knocked it on with his right hand as he tried to roll the ball into his grip. And Mick Stone didn't miss it with 5 minutes to go.
Only a little one, Jim, but it certainly counted for Manly. But Manly was starting to show signs of pressure there.
Yeah, I would have been inclined to take the kick, Reg, as I said, 16-10. And with 5 minutes to go, there's a chance of the draw.
Yes, they had to get to the converted try, didn't they?
Hasler feeds the scrum. It's a Manly ball. And Hasler at the scrum base tries to run through Henjak, who holds on to him. So Canberra have got to get this ball somehow in the next few minutes. Here's Vorton from dummy half.
His Manly players are tired.
As you say, Reg, I think they were chalking up the victory before the whistle a bit. Who could blame them, though, when they get to a 16-2 lead? But 16-8's a bit more precarious.
My word.
And Canberra almost scored a moment ago as Gibbs puts his head down and has another go. He's a real terrier, this fellow.
Canberra really have to make the hits now, but they've given away a silly penalty. Ron Gibbs in the tackle trying to get up, and Dean Lance put him back down on the ground. Manly penalty should relieve the situation, and all they really have to do now is make sure of their 6 tackles.
Gibbs is an amazing player, this fellow. He's developed a lot of discipline this season at Manly after having a few rugged years at Easts, and then Manly where he lost his block. But he's been a 100% player throughout the year, even after he made the decision to go north. Now it's Pocock from the tap, who runs it up towards the halfway mark. Canberra may have seen their last chance in the game go here, as Cochrane gives the pass to Ward, and Kevin Ward takes it ahead strongly again. And Ward, who said he played about 70% in his last match for Castleford, was saving himself for this game, and that's been proven all right.
He's had a big game, Jim. There's no doubt about that.
Terrific game.
Well worth the cost, whatever, for getting back from England.
Now it's Hasler, away to Lyons. Lyons sends the pass to Shearer. Now Shearer's looking for a bit of space there. Jackson, he gets around Jackson, but Jackson comes a second time and puts him down. 30 metres out from the Raiders line. It's going to be played back for the Sea Eagles to Cliff Lyons. He gives it to Vorton. Vorton straightens the attack. It goes back to Lyons. Over the top, he fires it out to Williams. Williams looks for a runner. He finds Ward. He gives the pass to Pocock. Davis is there. On the inside, he's got the pass. Davis looks around, and there's Ward backing him up. Now Ward starts to try and run through them, but Regan's got him on the deck. 20 metres out. Last tackle for Manly. Lyons throws a dummy, then throws the ball to Williams, who drops the pass. Lyons too late. He should have got rid of it straight away. But they made the mistake. Canberra will feed the scrum and should get possession with about 4 minutes left, if that. Right on the quarter, the scrum going down. It's Manly leading 16-8. Henjak feeds the scrum. Come on, Raiders, what have you got for us? Here's Belcher. Belcher's got the ball over the top. It's gone wide of Corkery. It's heading out towards touch. Ronson's dived on the ball. It was a desperation floater, that one. It didn't end up with anyone on the Canberra side, just Ronson for Manly. So Lyons has a look to his left, and he takes the tackle. Lyons 30 metres out, getting up to play the ball back to Cochrane. He sends it there to Williams. Williams runs straight ahead, and he's stopped by Lance. Back towards Hasler. Hasler on the open side. Sends the pass wide. Here's O'Connor. Now O'Connor can step them. Look out. He's given the pass to Hasler, who scores in the corner. Or does he? Wait for the referee. No try. He didn't get the ball down. He took the post out, and he bounced the ball in goal. It looked like Hasler would score, but he couldn't get it down properly. No try. It's back to the quarter. He lost it over the line, I think. Yeah.
He definitely bounced the ball, and good decision by referee Stone.
And it's a penalty to Manly against Canberra here. What's this one for? For being offside at the tap? Yep. Well, there wasn't much in it. I suppose they could have been a half metre or so, but It seems to be another Footling penalty. Not that it's going to make much difference at this stage with a minute left on the clock, and O'Connor's going to have another throw-over kick goal, but that's what it was for. Was it offside at the tap?
Yeah, it seemed to be, and it must be disheartening for the Canberra side to have 2 or 3 penalties against them of very small nature.
You can go 12 matches and not see that penalty.
That is true. That is true.
And to see it in the last minute of a grand final is disappointing. But still, if they were in front, they were in front, and he's caught them.
That's just about it, I think. That's Canberra's chances, but you've got to give it to Canberra. What a magnificent season they've had.
Yes, a bit of a disappointing day today, and maybe the heat as much as anything is taken its toll on them, perhaps more than the Manly side. And Manly have taken their chances. Certainly this man has. O'Connor, he hasn't missed yet. He's right in front on the quarter, and this time he's got it again. Goal number 5 for Michael O'Connor. Let's make it Manly 18, Canberra 8. And we're not far from that victory lap for the Seagulls, and for the first time at Manly for Bobby Fulton as a coach. His 5th season with the club, and it looks like he's done it. There's the siren. It's all over. It's all over. That's the ball game. 18-8. Manly have won their 5th first-grade premiership. It's a first for Bob Fulton. It's a first for Paul Vaughton in his 3rd grand final, captaining here today. And the Manly players, as you can imagine, are really excited about it. They're hugging each other in celebration of this tremendous performance. They've been the front runners in the competition. They won 12 matches straight at one stage, and although they haven't played a lot in the last few weeks, they were in front throughout this game, and they won it 18-8. Tries to Cliff Lyons and Michael O'Connor. O'Connor 5 goals. And for the Raiders, O'Sullivan a try, Meninga and Belcher each kicked a goal. We'll get a couple of interviews in a moment, as all the press photographers and TV cameramen are down there. They're swarming around the players. A little picket fence is being erected around this dais below us before the presentation of the Winfield Cup and the Gilderman Shield. It'll be a proud moment for these Manly boys when they set up on another centre stage to receive their award for winning this grand final. They didn't win in reserve grade. Penrith took that 11-0. And St George won the under-23s 32-14. There it is, 18-8 to Manly Warringah. And let's go down. Is David Rowlands down there?
Yes, here we are, Jim. Tremendous moment for Manly Warringah. Well, I'm sure there's going to be a couple of happy people in my family tonight. Everyone else in my family are of the maroon and white distinction. I live over there, and believe me, the feeling has been great. It's great for rugby league, but you've got to give credit to Canberra. I'm just going to let the players have their moment of glory. I think that's only fair. A couple of the other media outlets have gone for the throat straight away, and I think that's wrong. They only get this chance possibly once in a lifetime. Let him go up there, then I'll get some good interviews for you.
Thanks very much, David. Let's go over to Mark Levy and then Reg Gasnier.
Well, Manly proved to be too experienced. They proved to be too slick, and particularly in the first 40 minutes. And they were too strong up front with Daly and Ward, I thought, ferocious. Cochrane was doing his job. He ran from dummy half quite well. So too did Desi Hasler. And Rod Gibbs, Noel Cleal and Paul Vaughton all tried their hearts out and put a tremendous effort in the defensive stakes. And also Noel Cleal became very much more involved today than he was in previous week. There were fewer errors committed by the Manly side. Their defence was more punishing, and as we suggested already, Daly and Ward in particular were the most punishing. The back line, particularly Hasler and Lyons, were creative. They were dominant. They were too slick for the opposition, and Canberra, I thought, perhaps were a little disappointed today. It was a learning experience for them. The first time out on the SCG in a grand final, they tried their heart out. They were just unfortunately outclassed on the day by a far superior outfit. And I thought the first 40 minutes was the dominant area in which Manly were too good. They were willing to throw the ball around. They gave the ball to Shearer, Ronson, Williams, O'Connor, Davis and Cliff Lyons in that first 40 minutes. Certainly mesmerised the Canberra defence. Canberra came back. They scored a good try through Chris O'Sullivan in the second session when it was an amazing situation, really. Henjack came from dummy half. O'Sullivan was on the ground, popped up, went inside him and then went over for the try. It was 16 points to 8, and that was it. But Manly, they fully deserved their victory. They were the better side, by far the better side. Canberra tried hard, but were outclassed.
OK, Reg, what about that game then?
Well, I've got to give Canberra full marks for their performance. They've had a good year. They bowed out, in my opinion, to a superior side, to a more experienced side. And Canberra will certainly benefit from the experience they've had there today. Watch them next year. They're a fine side. They're a credit to the code. And, they'll give a good account of themselves next year. Playing in a grand final, the cricket ground for the last time, of course. It's really an experience, but I'm sure they would have learn a tremendous amount and go on to bigger and better things next year. Manly won the game because of their experience. They played it very tight. Daly, Ward, I gave Kevin Ward my man of the match. I think that good luck to Manly, to Bobby Fulton, whoever, club officials, for getting Ward out. He was definitely a winner. It was up front. It's up front where you win grand finals, and that front row of Daly, Ward, Cochrane, they did their job very well indeed, marvellously well. It's forwards win grand finals, and the Manly pack are to be congratulated. I thought that Hasler and Lyons, 5'8" Lyons, I thought in particular scored that good lead-up try and gave Manly the start that they wanted. Michael O'Connor, probably a little bit lucky to be awarded his try, but he got one. But he kicked very well indeed. 5 goals, and he added personal tally of 14 points out of the 18. That's not a bad effort at all. But I gave the credit to Kevin Ward. I gave 3 points. Cliffy Lyons, I gave 2. And I thought Peter Jackson out there in the centres for Canberra, he tried very hard, as did his fullback mate Gary Belcher, but Canberra, well, they were outclassed, a little bit outfoxed, and I just think it's, as I said, it's a learning curve, as certainly Mark mentioned, a learning curve. Canberra can only go on to bigger and better things. I'd like to congratulate them, congratulate their joint coaches, and Don Ferner, Wayne Bennett, and a particular big congratulations to Manly, the premiers for 1987. Congratulations, Bobby Fulton. He's really worked hard. He's a changed man. He had a better side this year than ever before, and they thoroughly deserve their premiership.
Thanks very much, Reg. 18-8, the official presentation to the winners and to the losers is about to take place below us. Canberra, like the Manly side, looking pretty fatigued down there after one of the hottest grand finals on record. And the Canberra players are just down in front of the dais there with a number of officials, New South Wales and state federal politicians. The Prime Minister, Bob Hawke, is down there. And so are a lot of other people too. There's almost as many on the ground now as there was before the kick-off in first grade. Photographers everywhere. Interviewers of all shapes, colours and sizes down there. And somewhere down there is David Rowlands too. Who have you got with you, David?
Well, Jim, there's a lot of happy seagulls here. I could talk to any one of them. But how do you feel, fellas? I've got Kevin Ward, Michael O'Connor, Phil Daly. You've done it. Michael?
I think you should probably talk to Kevin, because he won the man of the match, and I'll interpret for you, like.
Kevin, what about the conditions? Very hot. How did you stand up to it after probably a couple of cold days back home?
Probably the last 10 minutes in each half. I just felt it a bit like, but I didn't feel too bad. First hour in each half.
And you're not worried about anything now, all the dehydration, it's all worth it. You're going to get up there in a few minutes and get that shield.
Yeah, that's it, mate. And just going to have a big night tonight, big night tomorrow night, and the rest of the week all being well.
How does it compare to Wembley, winning at Wembley?
Bigger for me, mate, because I've travelled 12,000 miles, and it's something I want to take back home. A lot of people back home is watching, and I probably won't get another chance to do this, and I'm just glad that Mama's done it. It's great.
You feel the pinch late in the game? Things got a bit hot. You as you said, in the various periods of the game, you got tired.
Yeah, I got tired. I never thought we'd need to change the losing the game. I thought we dominated it all the way through, but we're just in a 5-minute lapse and we bounced back. But obviously, under the conditions they hit, any other team would have done the same.
Thanks a lot, Kevin, and well done. You got some excess baggage now to take back to England.
Yeah, mate. Just a bit. Cheers, mate. There you go.
Good on you.
David Rowlands down there with Kevin Ward. The Canberra players have received their commemorative medals from this match. Also the referee and the two touch judges who officiated here today. And they've had a pretty torrid time this afternoon. They had to make their decisions on the spur of the moment. They certainly didn't have the advantage of the replay we had, and I don't think any decision Mick Stone made today would have had any impact in the final analysis on Manly, who are worthy grand final winners. So the Canberra players They're receiving their runners-up award for taking part in this historic event. Even though Canberra didn't win today, their first appearance in a grand final, it's still a great moment in their history that they've got as far as this. And as I say, although they didn't win the game, they put in a very, very good showing, and hopefully we're going to be seeing them again in grand finals in the future.
ABC Sport brings you the live AFL excitement you need to end your week right.
Goals it back superbly.
Can he go for goal? Turns on his left. Yes, he can. Ice cold.
Grandstand AFL.
Run down. Incredible grab. Open goal square. He's gone all the way.
He collects. He snaps. He's got it.
Friday night footy with Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio, ABC Sport Digital and the ABC Listen app.
ABC Sport Digital Radio, your home of netball.